Annual myafibstory.com 400 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race, the first race in the 2014 chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, and what a finish we had out there today. We've got the second and third place competitors up here that put on quite a show for us. We have Kyle Larson, driver of the number 42 Target Chevrolet, was going hard for his first NASCAR Sprint Cup Series win, and Jeff Gordon, true champion, out there battling it out, trying to get that win in the opening round of the chase and the Challenger round. He came in second. He drove the number 24 Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet. Let's hear first from Kyle. Kyle, third place. You led some laps, certainly, as you set out on pit road. A couple things just didn't go your way there towards the end, but talk about maybe what you learned out there today and just the thrill I'm sure you had to experience being out front there late in this race.
Yeah, it was a good race. We were in a backup car and it was hauling butt. It was really good, and you knew from the drop of the green we'd be pretty good. And once the line got around the wall, where I like to run a lot, we were really fast, and you had a blast the whole race, and it was really good on long runs. And you got to second there, I don't know, before that last pit stop, and was able to chase Kevin down. And then I knew he'd take my line away once I got to him, and he did, and couldn't really figure out how to get by. And then I got a run on him through traffic and was able to get by, and then had the pit stops and came back out in the lead, and then got the jump on that first restart and was just going to cruise, I thought, to the win. And we got some more cautions, and we had to battle with Kevin there, and that allowed Brad to get by both of us. And then the last restart, me and Jeff had quite a battle, and got in the wall, and he was able to get by me, and just held on for third. So stinks we got third, but coming up close as often as I have this year, it's going to make that first win feel that much more special.
Thank you, Kyle and Jeff. Just talk about the race out there today, how it unfolded. Certainly, you had an excellent car, and you were certainly a big factor there at the end of the race. Just talk about how you thought things went.
Yeah, we had a pretty solid day. We started 8th, and we were able to drive up into the top 2 or 3 fairly early in the race. So I knew we had a solid car. The line was changing quite a bit there early on, laying rubber down and cars running all over the place. And, we ended up taking 4 tires more often than we anticipated. We thought we were going to be doing 2 more often, but that one time we took 4 and others took 2. So when we got out there out front and actually drove away, and the car was driving so good right there, I didn't want any changes. But once the other guys like the 2 and Kyle and Kevin were on equal tires right there with us, felt like they were a little bit better than us. So we adjusted and fought through it all day. I thought it was a great team effort. I mean, great pit stops, great calls, great adjustments, and we just hung in there. Our car was pretty decent on restart, so I just need to be in that outside lane. That inside lane was hurting me a little bit, and I was able to get by Kevin. And then Kyle saw his left rear was smoking really bad there, and I didn't know if he was cutting the left rear tire or blowing up, but we had a heck of a race there, and we were able to get to second. Our car was just solid, and that's the way you want to get this thing started. And Brad did a great job on that restart, and he got the win.
We'll take questions now for either Kyle or Jeff. If you have one, raise your hand. Mike Embry had one here first. Then we'll go to Dean, and then we'll go to the gentleman over here to the right. Go ahead.
Mike Embry, USA Today. Kyle, what about that smoke? I think that was on the last restart, just before the restart maybe. Was that tire smoke or what?
Yeah, that was that was tire smoke. I was lined up outside of Brad, and we were both scrubbing our tires in, and then he decided to make some big swerves and hit me right in the left rear, and damaged our left rear fender. So luckily we made it to the checkered flag. I didn't think we would, because I could barely see down the backstretch with all the smoke in the cockpit, and I figured we were going to go into 3 and just blow left rear tire and end our race. But luckily we made it to the end, and I guess after we made it through 3 and 4, the smoke kind of went away, but I'm not quite sure what Brad was doing under that caution, but I don't know.
Could you have won without that?
No, Brad was really good. I don't know if it affected me at all. Maybe a little bit, probably not.
Over here to the left, Dean.
Jeff, Dean McNulty from the Toronto Sun. You said in Toronto earlier this week that you'd be really happy with 9 second-place finishes going into Homestead. But today's performance, want you take it one more step?
Yeah, 8 more, and I'll be really happy. I mean, you want to get the win. You know, it was tough out there today because, you know, I've been here before, running up front, having a really good start to the chase, and then have had problems, and you know, we're clawing our way from there. And while you can move to the next level with that happening, you almost kind of have to win after that. So, you know, I think that this is a great sign for us to come out of here really solid and with a great, you know, second place finish. We got to get a little bit better. You know, no doubt about it. I thought Kevin and Kyle were the best cars out there today. You know, Keselowski, those cars are just really good on short runs. They have been all year long. You put them in that kind of position, they're tough to beat. You know, so if it comes down to a short run like that, then you know, it's hard to beat them. But you know, I thought we were close. Just need to be a little bit better. But yeah, I'm not going to complain too much for second because I've come out of here before much worse. This is a great way for us to get going.
Come back over here to the right. Go ahead.
Kyle Bukrefke, the fourth turn. Question for Kyle. You don't have to worry about advancing to the next round of chase, but you're racing 16 guys who do. Do you think this provides you with any advantage when it comes to racing these guys?
I don't know. Maybe those guys might be a little bit more cautious and won't race you as hard. I didn't feel that way at all today. I thought everybody was racing just as hard as they do all season long. So I don't know if there's any advantage. But we definitely have to be a little bit more careful around those guys too, because we don't want to hurt their chances of advancing. But like I said, I had a lot of fun racing Kevin, Jeff, Brad, Junior there at some points in the race. So I didn't feel like anybody was holding back at all.
Questions in the press box. Go ahead.
This is Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Jeff, we're now going to see a dynamic that we've never seen before, which is that Keselowski can kind of just take it easy basically the next 2 weeks. What do you expect out of a driver like that, or you know, going forward, not only next week, but drivers in the chase who have won races? What do you expect when you're racing around them? What their strategy will be?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, everybody goes out there to race to win, and I don't think that's going to change for those guys. In the preparation for the next 3 races is where it's going to change. They can now change some of their focus on, you know, really getting prepared to go win, say like at Kansas or something like that, where they can be you know, in the same type of position going forward. You know, I think we all agree that, you know, if you get a win early on, it puts you in a very comfortable position, similar to earlier in the season. If you got a win, you know, that was going to lock you into getting in the chase, you know, just puts you in that mindset of looking ahead, planning, you know, better preparation for races coming up, but doesn't stop you from racing for a win. Now, that might be different if we're going into Talladega, but every other track, I think everybody's going to be pushing hard to get those wins.
Anything else in the press box? All good. Downstairs, let's go to Jim Litke right here, Pat. Let's get you a mic, Jim, so everybody can hear you. Thank you.
Hey,
Oh, I know.
Jeff, you went over to Kyle's car at the end and said something. Can you share a little bit of that?
Just how proud I am of him. I think this kid is the real deal. He's you know, going to be a star in this series for a long time. I really wanted to see him win because I like him and I know he's going to win a lot of races, but I also didn't want to see those other guys win. So, you know, I just you know, I'm a big fan, and you know, I just I like seeing young guys out there driving like that. That's so much fun. That's what this sport is all about. And you know, I just want to let him know what a great job I thought he did.
Let's go to Jenna and then to Bob Pockris.
Kyle, what did that mean to you for Jeff to come over and talk to you like that?
Yeah, it means a lot. And then he gave me some advice on those, or for the restarts and
Tell
stuff.
him that part.
He doesn't have to tell us what it is.
I'm never out front, really. I'm never on the front row, so I don't know what to do. You look at my nationwide races, I'm maybe been on the front row a handful of times, and then the Cup Series, another handful. So I'm still learning that part of it. So he came down to give me some advice, which was nice. And I know Jeff thinks a lot about me, and I think a lot about him too. So it was fun racing him. I definitely wanted to beat him. I was trying all I could, and just tried a little bit too hard, and was running probably an inch or two off the wall all day, and finally got into it. So, it's nice whenever Jeff comes down or I read all the stuff he says about me. It's cool.
Let's go to Bob Pockris, and then we'll go over to the left to Kenny Bruce.
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. Kyle, when you're racing Harvick like that, do you know kind of how far you can go without it being considered kind of too far?
I think he knew we were down to the last handful of laps, and as long as we didn't touch, I think it was all going to be okay. And I left him plenty of room when we'd get down to the corners, and I would side draft and stuff down the straightaways, but wasn't hitting him or anything. So I think the way I was racing was okay. I don't know if he thought the same thing, but I had a lot of fun, and when he was ever on my outside, I felt like he was doing the same thing. So I thought we were racing hard but clean.
Over here to the left, Kenny Bruce.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Jeff, I'm a little surprised you're giving somebody advice on restarts, but
He was
Do
good.
as I say, not as I do.
were you surprised that the racing up front was as competitive as it was today?
Yes and no. When you have a groove that widens out like that, then it opens up the opportunity for different cars to be stronger at different points of a run. Say, like Harvick wasn't that good on the short runs. He looked like he was loose. Brad was good on the short runs. I was pretty decent on the short runs, and then Kyle was really solid throughout almost the whole run, but especially from the halfway point on that high groove, he was really, really strong. So it just depends on if you have cars like that. McMurray was really strong too. So when I saw McMurray as strong as he was, I expected Kyle was probably going to be pretty strong too. Yes and no. I like multi-groove racetracks where you can run on all these different lanes, but we've also seen that before where that didn't really change all the competitiveness or passing. I think for the most part, those restarts are what made it really, really exciting. Having multiple restarts allowed guys to run 2 and 3 and 4 wide at times, which made it very exciting.
Any further questions for Kyle or Jeff? Stan, over to the left.
Stan Creekmore with CompetitionPlus.com. Jeff, and you may have already been asked this question, I just wasn't in here. Do you know what you would have needed to do to your car to be the first to the checkered flag rather than the second?
Well, I would have liked to have started in the outside lane on that restart that Keselowski did. His car turns so good on restarts. We've seen it, all year long. They get up and go fast. Prior to that, Kyle had it won. I had third wrapped up, and Keselowski was fading. So, I kind of got settled in there at that point that it might be a third place day for us, and I wasn't going to be disappointed seeing him win. So, then it all changed there just because of a restart. I kind of got to Kyle's bumper there, and I was just trying to keep guys from taking me 3 wide, and then the outside lane kind of came, and that got Kevin and Kyle side by side, and they were swapping back and forth, and Keselowski he dove into the middle lane where there was some clean air, and Kevin really wasn't that good. I was more surprised he got up in front of Kyle, but I don't know, for us, I don't know if we could have passed these guys like Keselowski did, but the outside lane certainly would have secured some things up for us. It just seemed to work a little bit better on those restarts if you can get to that outside of that guy that you're racing. We're gonna certainly debrief and evaluate what happened here today, and make sure that and this is a unique track. It's very rough here. You know, the tires are pretty good. They don't wear out much, but you have multiple grooves. So, you know, it's a unique track, but we're going to go through everything we can to try to see what our competitors are doing, what we could do to be better, and, you know, make sure that happens in the next race.
Time maybe for one more. Anybody else? Final question right here. Go ahead, sir.
Michael Guzman, Popular Speed. Kyle, is it strange at all hearing guys like Jeff that you're competing against on track praising you in this way, guys around the garage area that you're completely competitive with week in and week out?
Don't worry, we won't be saying that for long.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's only going to last so much longer until I'm kind of here and everybody knows, I guess. But I don't know if it's strange or not. It's just really, really cool. You know, guys you look up to since, heck, Jeff's been racing the Cup Series as long as I've been alive. So
Easy.
I needed to hear that.
So that's just really cool that, you know, guys that I've looked up to since forever are now talking about me, and I'm racing them for battling for wins too, which is really cool.
Well, listen, I don't know if we could have had a better opener here today in Chicagoland, but you guys were certainly a big part of that, and we'll see you at New Hampshire. Congratulations.